Hello and welcome back. This is Arathok, and today we are going to do a Wurm modification that also includes actions, like you are using an item and you're doing a new action. This is probably going to be not very structured, and I'm going to cheat and look at my own made mods, but if it helps you making a mod, all the better. So first you need any Java IDE. I'm working with IntelliJ because it's very user-friendly. So I'm just gonna do a new project here. Hey. New project. Just plain Java. If you don't have a Java SDK, we can look after that later. So we're gonna do next, and I'm just gonna call that light crystal, because this is what I had in mind for a nice little mod that uses actions. Okay, there we go. We've got light crystal, we've got the source folder. So the first thing is to do a new package. And you can call that however you like. I call mine org.arathok.wurm unlimited.mods light crystal. You can also type it all small letters, it doesn't matter. And in there we're going to do a new Java class, and this is called light crystal because, you know, that is the name of the mod. Cool. Then you gotta go to your in the project view. It might be closed down, so click on project, select this folder, and then press F4. And then you go to libraries and say add Java, and then you take a look where your Wurm server folder is. So for me that's on D Steam apps common Wurm unlimited dedicated server. That is in mods, but I'm gonna go just there. Oh, I don't want to add the folder, I just wanted to navigate there. So let me go there. It's now, see, it opened up the directory just like it does, and you then just go in the server, and then you add common Java assist, mod launcher, and server.jar. Then press OK, and then say OK again, and then it automatically pulls these jars, and it then knows these jars. So we have got here our mod, and now we can say here implements, and then it is already squiggly line because you need to type what it implements, and normally Java assist helps you with that. Can we implement MOS interface? I don't really know, but you have the opportunity to not have to go through that, but this is a framework basically. So I'm gonna just open one of my mods there. Got, hey man, where's my card? Go in the main class, and there you see implements Wurm saver mod, and then you've got lots of stuff you can implement. Don't have to implement all of them. So I'm gonna copy that, put that here. Boop. And now it's red and squiggly, but that's fine because we can just go there and we can say, aha, implement methods. There you go. If you have that, you can copy basically the text in here, and that is kind of like a framework for a mod because you will need that for every mod you make. Okay, what's today's goal? Today's goal is to make an item. I'll call it light crystal, and what we want to do is basically make an action that you can do on a on a gemstone of your choice, and it will just split off a light crystal like the spell that Vinora priests can cast, I think, and it will cost a little bit of karma or so. Alright, so first I'll just gonna make a new class. I'll call that item, and then we're gonna take a look at another mod there. Let's see, do I have my item here? Oh no, because I'm not making new item in this mod. Then let's go fuel storage. So this is also what you only need to do once, basically. So we are making one item. So I say public static int, and that is gonna be the light crystal ID. So that's gonna be the item ID, which gets assigned from the game. And we're gonna say public static item template, because that is the actual item, and that is then the light crystal, like that. Of course, it's gonna bitch about that, but you can just import the class item template. Excuse me. Right, then we open up and so a public static void register light crystal. You can call this method whatever you like. And in there, I'm gonna say the light crystal is a new item template builder. And now we need an identifier for the item. So I'm gonna call this Arathok dot light crystal dot light crystal. So your name, name of the mod, name of the item is what I normally do. And since it says string, you have to do it as a text. Of course, now the item builder is not done. There's many stats we can add. For example, dot name would be a good thing, I guess. And you see here in IntelliJ, again, it says what you can add here. So this is a light crystal. I do it capitalized, although most Wurm items are lowercase. I don't know why. As a German, it does make sense to me. That is that. Then we have a plural, so light crystals, I guess. And of course it needs to be text. And then we need a description, so this little light crystal is made by chipping of shards of a gem with a chisel, right? So this is the description of the item. That is, when you examine it, this will pop up in your event window. Okay. So we need a model name. So I'm gonna say model name. And now you have to add how it looks. If you don't know how it looks, you can look up your graphics here. So you go Wurm Launcher, packs, and then you have a graphics.jar. I have it unpacked here so I can just look, and then you go into the mappings.txt, and this shows you basically all the models that are in the game. And let's see, I'm gonna lightning ball, lightning tail, classic light, cloud, human avenger, outer holy, lantern, lamp street, lamp, torch, street torch, hanging, imperial, boy, oil lamp, and then we are at mailboxes. That's the question. That's a Wynora spell, so you just do a little bit of research. Wurmpedia, Wynora spells or so. Spells. Table of spells. Well, sort by Wynora, and then let's see. Tentacles. Huh. Is that a modded spell? I'm gonna go through that here. Maybe it's not a Wynora. Light token, this is what I need. Oh, that's not Wynora. Oh, that's Meg. Well, light token is what we need. Right. So this is called light token, but I don't know if it's called like that. Let's just hope that is correct. Model light token. Ah, there we go. See? Okay, so we are gonna get that model light token here. And we are going to give it that model name. Of course, this is again a string. And don't worry about the squiggly lines. This is just because you didn't finish the builder. So you just need to be patient and go through your item builder. But this is the model, which kinda is important. All right, then we're gonna go image number. So this is what it is, right? And you can go there and say short, because it needs to be short. And then icon constants dot, and then we can take a look. Token, gem. It needs to be all in uppercase this time. We could do just diamond gem, maybe. Let's see. Is there a light token? Doesn't look like. What is another crystal? I think Walrai item. Artifact Walrai. Okay, we've got that. And next up is the item types. You say new short. So you always only have to do this one time when creating a new item. Okay, we do a little bit, and then we say item types. And now we need to check what we can do or want to do with the item. So it should be, I don't know if it should be plantable, but it should definitely be a decoration, because if it's a decoration, it will not get integrated into any like these item stacks when you have it on the ground, right? What do we have? Repairable is another type, but I don't want it to be repairable. You can do and say it named, then you can rename it. But actually this should suffice. You can say decay on deed. But just for testing purposes, this is enough, I guess. You can say item types dot turnable, but I don't know if that is important for that item. Okay, so that's the item types. Clean up a little bit. And then we have our next parameter here. So dot decay time. I don't know what's a good decay time. It should decay pretty fast. So let's just put 100,000 as a decay time. And then we say next parameter dot dimensions, how big the item is. Doesn't play a role if you assign the model that we have. It just looks like that model, so the size doesn't matter. It is more like if you put it somewhere in a crate or in a chest, or if it's hollow, then it's internal volume. So it's not that important, but I try to be kind of realistic here. So what is this dimension of this thing? I think it's 5 centimeters across. How much should it weigh? So how much does a gem weigh? That is the question. So back to Wurmpedia. Gem. Diamond. Okay, diamond weighs 500 gram. So I kind of want it to be weighed in grams. It kind of depends, really, but let's see. So right now I'm thinking about it, whether or not this is unfair or so, you know. Try to make this a good mod. Let's see. Maybe, I mean, gems are not that uncommon in the late game, but in the early game. Let's just say you can make 2 out of them, because that is important for the weight, for the crafting later. Okay, and materials doesn't matter too much. Material is materials. Yep, is there even crystal? There is crystal. Alright, so that means you cannot improve it, because crystal, I think, is not improvable. Good. That's that. Then there's behavior type. Nobody knows what that is doing, but 1 seems to be the correct one for normal items. Primary skill, so that is the skill that is used when creating that item. I would say that would be stone cutting. So you go skill list and then stone cutting. And then we have a difficulty. So how difficult is that item to craft? And that should not be very, very difficult, excuse me. So I go 15. All right. And then you just say build, bada bing, bada boom, and you're done. And of course you need to close that. So what do you do here? Okay, and now we have an unhandled exception, but don't be scared. This just means you have to say, okay, I know I make this function and it may throw an input-output exception. So because, I don't know, item doesn't exist or the template could not be found, we'll take care of that exception later. Just know your game will call this function when it builds all the item templates, and if something is wrong here, it will throw an IO exception. Okay, but we're not done yet. Of course, we need to actually add a crafting recipe here. So that needs to go inside the builder. See here the squiggly bracket we need to stay inside that boundary, so because that is all of our item. And we do now a creation entry creator, funny name, and then we say next line dot create simple entry, because I want to keep it simple today. So again, skill list. You can see there primary skill is again called, and that was stone cutting, although it is a gemstone. So you could maybe do a jewelry. Smithing. Is jewelry smithing? Goldsmithing is the name of that. Smithing, goldsmithing. So I'm gonna change that over here as well. Smithing, goldsmithing. Okay, what comes next? Object source. So what is the source object? Well, it is any gemstone. So item list, any gem. No, we don't have any gem. We have got any cheese, any berry. Okay. And there's no gem. So I'm gonna do diamond. That is our source. We need a target, so we said chisel. So item list, chisel, stone chisel. Okay. And if you use the chisel and the diamond together, you will create object created. You see it there. That's why I love IntelliJ. Object created is not item list. It is our new item. So it is the light crystal, but it is an ID because it is int. See here, object type int, and so you need to use the ID. This also is the ID. If you go over it, it says IntelliJ says 97 is the ID of the stone chisel, and 380 is the ID of the diamond. Okay, what's next? Deplete source. The source is the diamond, so yes. So there's a boolean, so you say true. Deplete target. So if you leave that to true, your chisel is gonna lose weight, and you don't want that, so we say false. A percentage lost, no. Deplete equally. So use up. So this item weighs 250 grams. If you set that to true, your chisel loses 125 grams, and your gem loses 125 grams. So we say false because we want that only taken off the original gem. Create on ground, false. It needs to be inside inventory. And creation categories. That is, if you open the crafting helper by pressing N, you can look through the categories and then see, okay, there's a light crystal. So I don't know, I would put that in decoration or so, but I don't know. You can also see there is another way to put that. So we could do that by saying, what's that? Custom creation cutoff. So that is the chance for this recipe to just randomly fail while the timer is rolling through, and we are going to say no, 0%. And a minimum skill. This could be, you know, a useful skill for jewelry smith. So let's just say 10 jewelry smithing, but it needs to be a float. So put an F behind that. Is it float? I think it might be double. Let's go back to the comma and just check. Double, yeah. So 10.0 D. And then at the end, it wants us to do the creation category. So that's then just creation categories. Dot, is there torches? No, light. Lights and lamps. Okay, that's for the crafting helper. And as you can see, that this is kind of a long ass row here. So I'm just gonna put that into 2 lines, right? Okay. Since we are on the creation entry creator, we now can also copy this. Go to the next line. Oh, we need another creation entry creator. Sorry, my bad. Boop, 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 boop. Because there is more than a diamond, right? So there's also an opal. And there's also a ruby. And there's also a sapphire. And there's also emerald, right? And there's also the star versions of those gems, but I'm just gonna go with the standard gems. And this is our item here. Right now, we're just gonna tell the game to actually make that item. I'm gonna put it here. And if you have any items, you just go into on item templates created. So when the server starts building the items, you just then say try, or let's just say item.register light crystal. Boom. And now that's quickly lined. Ah, unhandled exception. There it is again. Here bite us in the ass, the IO exception. And now we can say, okay, surround with try catch. And now it says, okay, I'm gonna try to do it, but if it throws an exception, I'm just gonna crash and do print the stack trace. But it would be nice if we actually told people what's wrong with that shit. So we're gonna do in our class, we call that logger, and logger equals logger dot get logger, and we need to call that a name, and that I just call it the name of the mod, so light crystals or light crystal. Okay, of course we need to import the class logger or everything will break. By now your IntelliJ might have bitched about not having a Java SDK. So remember when we made the libraries here, you can go to your project and say SDK here. I have downloaded the Java JDK from Oracle, but you can also download, for example, Corretto. You just go add SDK, download JDK. Need to be version 1.8 because that's what Wurm uses, and then you can just download one from Amazon, and it functions pretty much the same. So you don't have to register an account with Java at all. And make sure your language level is on version 8 for 1.8. Right. Okay. Now we have that logger. And it's called light crystal. And now we can say here in that catch block, do not only print the stack trace, rather do use our logger and have it log a level. And an IO exception causes a crash, so it's pretty severe, right? You can put info there. But if an admin will look through their server.log, it's better to do severe. And there's finest. Fine, or finest. Severe. Something went wrong building the light crystal item. And then you can say a comma E, so it also notifies the admin about what exactly the exception was, and then it still prints the stack trace, so that's always good to have. But don't only print the stack trace. Write something that helps people actually find the errors with your mod. Okay, so that is making that item. Well, that took half an hour. But that's only once, because, you know, this is the framework for your future mods and also items. Then you can only copy that function and just copy it and have a new function practically, right? All right. Now, let's make the actual action performer. So for an action performer, you can just say item performer, or just call it so you know this is the performer. Performer is basically where you put in the info what is actually happening with that item. So let's see here. So in my mind, I want to spend karma to light up that light crystal. It then leaves your inventory and casts the spell light token, although you are not a priest, so we only want the spell effects. So let's see here. We're gonna make a constructor. So public item performer. So it's the same name as the class, right? And then we say, okay, what shall it do? And then you go action entry equals new action entry builder. Okay, now it of course says, wait a minute, this doesn't exist. So you just go in your class and say, okay, public action entry, right? And then semicolon it. And as you can see, IntelliJ normally just imports right when it's needed. So it practically goes along with you and imports what it needs. Okay, what do we need? Again, we need a number. And we just say, okay, it needs to be short. It says short, so it needs to be short. And we say mod actions. And you can see this is coming from mod support. Dot get a next action ID. And you can use both of these. One is strike through, that just means it's deprecated, but you know. Next action ID. And then we say, okay, what is the action string? So what is that action called? And I want to just say create light source. English is not my forte, so probably all lowercase except birth letter. Okay. And then the verb string, so that is what appears in the event window or in local chat. If anybody is near you, then you can just say, okay, that's called creating. And another player that's next to you will then see a light source maybe. Will then say, okay, your character's name is creating a light source. Is then what is inside the local chat. Okay, then we just need types. And that is the same thing like the item types. So you need new int. So you're making a new list of integers practically. And yeah, there is numbers for that. For example, 6. 6 means this is action type underscore type underscore no move. So it means if you go if you move while doing that action, it will just stop doing it. Actually, is there action types? No. There must be some source file where we've got the action IDs. We can do a little bit of research to do that. Right, so I went into JD GUI and now I'll just look at Wurm online, maybe shared constants. Is there something about action here? No, then server, behaviors, action types. There you go. So you can technically also call that, like, just let's have a look. It's in behaviors and then action types. So normally you should be able to call that. Let's see. Action types. And then that are ints. So dot. But it doesn't want that. We've got that action entry. Can I import that? I'm just toying around here, learning with you. Types. Action types is not public. Well, that's not nice. It says it's public static in here, but apparently the class itself is private. What? Action entry. Well, but you can take a look in here. So you see action type no move and use active item. Maybe use active item. Always use active item. Never use active item. So we are going to use 35 because that means you need an item active. Or 35 is I don't care. You can have an item active or you can not have an item active. 36 means you are always using the active item. And 37 means you are not allowed to have an item active for this action. So that doesn't quite make sense here as well. So we're going to use the 35. So action types. So I didn't know that this is private. Interesting. What can we do about it? Nothing. All right. All right. So we take 6 for no move. 35 for don't care about item. And that should be enough for that, right? So we got that. And then you, of course, need to say, wait, forgot squiggly. Let's be squiggly here. God damn it. And a squiggly here. All right, you can move that in if you want that. So the 35 needs a comma to be good. And then we need a range. So dot range, I don't know, 2. This is a little bit weird. This is not tiles, but I don't know what it is. And then we say dot build. And there you have your action. You can also put that down here. And basically you build that action just like you would build an item. Okay, say here, don't care about active item. Right, and of course, what's also part of your action builder is mod actions. Can't type today. Register action. Action entry. So why is that red? Cannot resolve that. Yeah, because our item performer also needs to implement the action action performer. Right, so we've got the action performer here. Must be either declared abstract or implement abstract or get action ID. Yes, we need that. So implement method get action ID. We'll use that later. But that's not supposed to be... this is our big class. Okay, need to tidy up a little bit here. Inside your action entry, you need to register the action entry. So you can always go by the squiggly lines, right? This is our constructor here, the item performer. This is opening up into this section here. And this also registers our action with the game. So we need that to be in here. It can't be outside or else you will get in trouble. All right. For that get action ID, you'll just not return 0 because an action ID of 0 means the action X does not exist in the game. So instead you say return action entry get number, and then your action will get assigned a new number. So that is important. Then we need another override here. So you need to do this only once. Keep that in mind. It may look scary, but it's all nice. You just go public boolean action and say action creature performer item source item target. We need an action number and we need a counter. You don't need to use that, but we need that. And then you say, okay, please return only the action with the action, the performer. You can see it here. Now you see source target short num floater, but we are going to change that. We're gonna just take target, the number, and the counter, and then boom. What your well, maybe that will go away later. Because now I'm gonna use that. This is required. This here is required. I'll mark that. Required. Or the item will only activate if you have no item active, and we don't want that. So we need to override that. As you can see, normal action uses the action, a performer, so you, an item that is the source, like for example, you right click the anvil with a target. Oh no, the source is what you have in your hand. So you right click the target, like a small anvil with your lump of iron, and then it shows, okay, create, and then nails or something like that. But we have only the item that is called light crystal, and we don't want to care if you have to activate it with an iron lump in hand or something else. That's why we are returning here a shorter action. Otherwise, it will only work if you have nothing in hand, because then source is 0 or null rather. Okay, and then we say another override here for the actual what we want to use. Action, 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 creature performer, the player, and our target, item target. A short num and a float counter. Good. And then we open this up, because this is where our actual stuff goes that we want. So that is that. I'm gonna ignore these errors for the time being. So now here comes the part where you build your performer. So normally before building that performer, you write your own function. This is often just called public static can use. And it needs some types of input. And this we use the performer. And we use the item target. Right? And then we open it up and put stuff in. And of course, I forgot the type, Boolean. So it returns true or false, depending on what happened. So can use figures basically out whether the item can be used. Can the item be used? And does the action be performed? Always remember, we are building performer. It may look scary, but that's how you do it. You only need to do it once and then you can just copy over. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna look, is return, because that's Boolean, right? Return performer is player, because, you know, safety. And target is not traded. Is that... Oh, I need that. Am I dumb? Target is an item. Well, let's see. What can we get from target? Nothing. That's interesting. Is that the wrong item? Like here. Oh, my bad. Item is the same than item in Wurm, so we maybe need to rename that. I'm gonna call that crystal item. Yeah, so that is something you can stumble upon. Just call them crystal item. And now our item performer is just called item performer. And now we actually see this is now crystal item. This is why we are getting those errors, because the original in-game class is called item. See, now that error went away. Well, there we go. Item. But it's good that happened. So you need to watch out to not call your classes like they're actually called in the game. So we have items and there's a class item. So don't do that. Don't call your class like an in-game class. And now we can look, is traded? Yep. So if our little light crystal is in a trade window, you cannot use the light up action because that would destroy that item. So let's say you run up to your friend and they say, hey, look what I've got. Oh, it's a light crystal, and you right click it and it just goes poof, and that's it. And also I want to check if target.get owner ID equals performer get Wurm ID. So you can only use it when you own the item. I think that would make sense, right? Okay. And now we say here in our action, if can use and then performer target. And if it cannot be used, then we just break up the action, right? We say performer dear user get communicator send save server message and say you are not allowed to do that. You know that message, you know, when you try to access a card's inventory but standing too far away, that is that. So you're not allowed to do that. And then we say return propagate action propagation, and not continue but finish action. So if you cannot use it, the action is finished immediately. Excuse me. And then we also say action propagation no server propagation, so it's not being transmitted to the server. And action propagation no action performer propagation, so the action is also not used on your player. So it's immediately finished, it's not going to be transferred to the server, and it's not going to be displayed on your end. And of course we are missing comma here. Right. That is if you cannot use it. And now you can do practically everything in here. All right. So remember what the light crystal is about? I said it should be light up the place, right? So we are going to check. It should cost 50 karma or 10 or so. I don't know what is a fair price, so I guess 50 karma. So we're gonna check if performer dot, so the performer is the player, get karma is bigger than 50, then we can do our shit. So we say we need to cast that spell now, so we're gonna take a look with the JD GUI into the spells, and then it's called light token, right? So we're gonna take a look here, light token. So it just creates a new item, which is called this item ID. Right. And then we copied that, basically that spell effect just, so we gotta do that. You cannot call that because it's probably private. I don't know, but we just copied that over. So we copied that over. Oop. Okay, so item factory is not imported, so we are going to import that class. Power is not there because that is spell power. But instead of spell power, we can use target dot get quality level. Because I want to do it like that, if you have a high quality gem, then you get a high power spell practically. Because that would mean the power of the light token spell says how much area is lit up and how long the light token lasts. So we use that. Get quality level. And then it says here, oh, there's an unhandled exception because no such template. Template ID 649, right? We can take a look at that. Items, creation entry, template creator, 649. Light token, there it is, so it is there, but maybe the game has forgot about that. That's why we do the try and the catch. No such template exception. We need to import that, and then that error just disappears. Right? So we need to catch that. And if that happens, we say crystal, light crystal is our main class, light crystal dot logger, because we want to log that maybe, dot log level severe again, because you know, could not find item template, which is called in item performer line. What is the line? 69. Nice. Or let's say 66 rather. Still nice. Okay. And then it says, oh, but logger is a non-static field in our main class crystal item here. So we're just gonna make it static. Boom. And then it's fine. And if we go back to our main class, our logger is now static. I forgot that. So again, IntelliJ helped me a little bit. Okay, that's the same thing. And now the player has that light token inside their inventory. And then we say something starts shining in your pocket. Just like that. So practically what we did, we made an item, a new one, that is a light crystal, and if people right click it, they can practically cast the spell light token, but the power is dependent on the quality. Maybe that's something useful. I'll put the code in the forums. Okay, so that's that. Don't forget, we're still in our action, and an action needs to return something, so we say, this is now a successful action. So this time, again, after all that happened, we finished that action, and after all that happens, nothing should get sent to the server and nothing should get sent to us as well. So practically the same thing up here, right? So that is your performer. And now you just need one final thing, and that is the item behavior. But before we do write that behavior, I need to fix one error here. You see here it says it has no return parameter, so it doesn't know that this is a constructor for this class because I have a typo here. Boom. Basically, a constructor is a method of a class that has the same name as the class. So every time this class is created somewhere, it does its own action registry. So that is important that it does that. So we need to do exactly the same name here. Okay, so now we just make a new class and we call that item behavior. And that is then again another thing you need for your action, and this time we don't need the action performer, we need a behavior provider, because that is the actual entry. If you right click something, that the performer is practically just what you see, what the action does when you finally do it, and the behavior is taking care of where it shows up practically. So this is not going to be as long as the performer, but still. So first we need a private final list here, and this list will have an action entry. So practically we are making a list of action entries, but there's only one action entry in that list, but never mind. And we call that light crystal or something like that, or light up crystal, and we call that. And that's that. And we need a private final light up performer. And guess what? Our light up performer is going to be a How do we call that? We call that oh, I made a mistake. We need a item performer, and that we call light up performer. So just so you know, practically this is the item performer we just wrote previously, and now we need it because the behavior needs to know what you want to do. So like if you right click a horse that you have in your hand on a card, you can hitch it. So the game needs to know what is hitching, and our game and action needs to know what is actually lighting up a crystal, right? So we need that as well. Okay. Now, same thing. We're gonna do public item behavior. Same thing, same name. Again, is a function. You open it up, make a little room. And then we say this dot light up performer equals a new item performer. Right? And now this arrow is also going away. So sometimes arrows will just go away later. So don't be scared of the squiggly. Just write your class and then go back from the top. So practically this means in this class, so in this item behavior, make a new item performer and call it light up performer, which we have up here. So that way we don't have to say, oh, please make a new item performer right now. There is something there to put the new item performer in the info, put the info into that, right? And we also can say mod actions register action performer, that one. And then we say our light up performer. So we register that. We do have that here, similar. We have here, we're registering the action entry, but the performer is not yet registered with the game. But it's useful to call that in your behavior, because that way you just need to register the behavior at the end, and your behavior registers the performer, and your performer registers the action entry. So it's kind of a step down effect or a cascade. All right, that all comes in here, and that's it for the constructor. You already know what a constructor is. And now we need an override again, because we need to override the base game's code. And we say override public list action entry. Guess what? It's about the list we just created. And get behaviors for creature performer. So that's us. And the target item target. Right? And as you can see, the override is not getting any issues, because there is a method called getBehaviorsFor in the base game that gets the behaviors for the items, and we are overriding that now, so we can add our own action in the action list. And then we say if target dot template get template ID equals crystal item dot light crystal ID. So if our target is actually a light crystal, make this action show up. Otherwise that would be not so cool. And if we actually can use item, right? We can call that from the light up performer, light up performer punct dot. Sorry. Oh, is the can use not in there? Is that private? It is in here. Well, then I'm just calling it from the outside. Let's see. Item performer dot. Yeah, there it is. So if we can use that, and performer is the performer and target is the target. So if we wouldn't put that, then if somebody had that crystal in the trade window, you could right click it and the action would show up. And then if you click the action, it would say you cannot do that at the moment, what we've written before in here. So we are making extra sure that it's not even popping up. Yeah, and if that all is there, then we will return a new array list for our light up crystal. Oh, I'm missing brackets here. There you go. Okay, so if that is nice, then we will return this list that actually is our action entry with the light up crystal. And if that is not possible, we return nothing. Because, you know, just do nothing. So if we cannot use, you can now say, okay, that is for multi-actions, like, okay, like can use isn't true, so you cannot use that, then maybe return another action that can be used. So you can do multi-layers, like, I don't know, dye something red, and if you don't have red dye, well, then instead it get dyes blue or something like that. Okay. Now we just have this one error here. Well, that is not a problem. What else is your problem? Make not final? Huh. But normally it is final. Well, I'll keep that here and we'll see when it goes away. Also, normally an action entry also uses target and source, so you have to have an item activated, but remember, we don't care if there's an item activated or not, so we need a similar override. Public list action entry get behaviors for creature performer item source. There we go, item target, but we don't care about source and target, so we are going to return get behaviors for, and then just creature for, oh, we don't need that, performer and target. Bam, that's that. Okay, and now we only have one last thing to do. We need to go to our main class, and then on pre-init, that is here, pre-init, we say mod actions dot init. Need that, and this can go away here with that super. Don't need that super. And we need to register not our only item, but also our item behavior, and that you do on server started. So you can make a comment here, register behavior here. This is where we do mod actions, register behavior provider, new item behavior. Oh, there. Okay, we did that. And now I just need to check what is wrong here with my light up crystal list. Maybe I did a typo again. Oh, I forgot to initialize the list. Well, yeah, so this light up crystal, so our list is a collections.singleton list of our light up performer.action entry, because you know that's the contents of the list, right? We are making an empty list here, and this empty list needs something to fill in. So we say, okay, you are a singleton, so it's one item list, and it contains the light up performer action entry. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to click on something here, right? Okay. Now that mod is practically done. I don't see any errors. Let's see. So you can go in your IntelliJ, say build project, but you can also go here, press F4 again, and then you say artifacts, make new, jar, empty. And this is called light crystal, right? Light crystal. You don't have to call it .jar because that's already doing that. And the output directory, I want to be my mod folder. So I can straight up test it. So we need a new folder, light crystal. And don't forget to put your compiler output into the jar. Otherwise, yeah. You can, I think you can, you don't have to create a manifested file, that is fine. And then include in project build, set apply. And then you just click on build. And down here you can click on that hammer that's filling up. And as you can see, build completed successfully with one warning, because on-player message has been deprecated, so it's old, but it still works. Now, if you take a look into my dedicated server folder, it made the folder light crystal, and you've got the light crystal.jar in there. And as you know, with mods, you still need a properties file. So I'm gonna take the http server.properties and then just maybe not that one of my own mods maybe. Then I'll copy that over. Oh, maybe just copy that file rather. And then I'll call that light crystal.properties, because you know you need that properties file to activate your mod. And now we need org.arathok.wurm_mods.light. I did that one, I think, or was it like that? Let's see. Yeah, capitalized this time. Light crystal, and the main class is called light crystal, as you can see in here, light crystal. And the class path is just light crystal.jar, because you know that already exists. All right, time to start the server and check out if it works. I hope it works. I'm gonna launch that server. It's not crashing, that's good. I'm gonna test that. So far no errors, because I'm paranoid. I'm gonna check light crystal. Yep, it saw the mod. It's also loading in the mod. It's registering a new item, and that's it. No errors so far. Okay, good. That's good signs. I'm gonna boot up the client. And now we can test everything. I'm gonna take ebony wand and I'm gonna make myself chisel. Stone chisel, item quality 99. And I'm gonna create diamond quality level 50 maybe. Oh, well. Diamond, crazy diamond, whatever crazy diamond is. 99. There we go. And now I can go here and say create unavailable. What? Let's see here in the helper. Our item's not there. Let's see. I can make an inventory. That is not good. Something went horribly wrong with that item template. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. Crystal item. Light crystal. Light crystal ID. That's right. So a stone chisel on a diamond. Maybe you cannot do multiple creation engine. Let's see. I'm just gonna comment out some of those. Well, that is the testing phase. Writing mode and testing mode. But I did call the item creator on it, I think. It could be that you have to make multiple items, but I don't think so. But inventory, that is very weird. Anyway, let's see if that works. And now I can just build the project again. Kill my server. Rebuild again, because while the server is running, you cannot actually replace that jar file, right? Okay. Start server. Start the client. Meantime, I'm gonna take a look in the main class here. I do have register light crystal, so it should work. There. Nope, it's not there. In lights and lamps, we still got inventory. So that works, but it's called inventory. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. So it's something wrong with that item. Name is light crystal though. Is artifact Walrai working? No. It's the sign of an inventory. That is very weird. Oh, yeah. I forgot something. There we go. And can remove my comments here. You know what I forgot? I'm gonna kill the game. Inside your builder, you also have to give it an ID. We say here we have a crystal, And we have the crystal ID, and this is 0. And you know which in-game item has the ID 0? We can go, come, Wurm and light, shared, constant. No, that's materials. Now let's go server, items, item list. Aha! The inventory has the item ID of 0. So yeah, of course we need the game to assign an item ID to our new item. So we say light crystal ID equals light crystal, the item template, get template ID. And then we get a newly assigned item ID. Okay, I'm gonna build that once more. But yeah, these are the errors that can happen. So always test it on a local test server, or at least do a backup of your stuff, because you never know. And there we go. And now we can search for light crystal or something like that. There we go. See that? There's the ID 22499. So it's not 0 anymore. Hopefully. All right, crafting helper, crystal, and there you go. Light crystal, diamond, opal, ruby, sapphire, emerald. Cool. Crafting window. Diamond in, put stone chisel in. Ah, your skill is too low to craft this item. Ah, boohoo. But that means it's working, right? So I gotta learn. Jewelry smithing. Of course, I gotta put it to 50, and I need some karma, so 1000. Close that window or put the diamond back in. Aha, now I can craft this light crystal. Gotta do that. And there we go. Light crystal has a weight of 0.25. And our diamond is gone. But the stone chisel didn't lose weight. That's okay. Maybe I need to play a little bit with the depletion of that item, but you can see it kind of works. And if we right click it, let's see. Yep, we can say create light source. And then we get that light token with the same quality. So as you can see, that's the power. And then we drop that on ground. And we have that little star here. But as you can see, the light crystal is still there. Create light source, create light source. Maybe I forgot to destroy that crystal. So there are still some quirks here. But that's okay. That happens when modding. Okay, so we go back. Kill the server, go back into the code. So what did we notice? What are we missing? I'm gonna go into the crystal item here, and then I'll say deplete equally true. And then let's see, there's also deplete source. You can put that on false, but nah. Okay, so that's that for that item. We're just playing around and testing, right? And the performer, remember we asked if the player has karma bigger than 50, and then I just died on that effect. So of course we gotta say performer set karma to performer.get karma minus 50, because we want to have it cost 50 karma. And also we want to say items dot destroy item light target. We want that target destroyed. Target dot because that works with an ID. You see, I provide an item, but required type is long, so we need to get Wurm ID, right? So because that destroy item is based on the Wurm ID of the item. Okay, build that target. Start the server and then check again. So bugs are going to happen. Don't worry, it's not a shame. You just need to test and find your way around. So now I'm going to create a light crystal. Let's check my karma here. Karma is 1000, okay. And then I'm going to create a light source. Did I build my project? One moment, please. 1 second ago. That's weird. Okay. Maybe something weird happened. I'm gonna create a new diamond to see. Maybe 5 diamonds. Diamond 5. Quality of 10 just to check. Diamond 5. Put in here. Chisel. Light crystal. Oh, we are using up the chisel. Ooh. Okay. That's why that weird thing happened. Okay. All right, we left off last time with... So after testing, we found out that the chisel still gets used up, maybe because of the deplete equally here. So I set that all to false and I'm gonna build that. And then I'm gonna take a look that the build is correctly. So that is my server. All right. I'm gonna start that up and test it once more. And then we shall see. So looking at the performer right now, we did do that with the karma, but we didn't check that in the previous test. And also the light crystal didn't get destroyed. So we gotta see. Maybe we need to take a look here. It's the item is target, so that should be all good. Well, let's see. I'm gonna destroy the old diamond here and also my used up chisel, because I don't know what weirdness might happen if your chisel is not its original weight. So chisel. Oh, what the? Oh, I think that's Wyvern. Is that? Well, never mind. Stone chisel. 30 quality this time. I'm gonna go with an emerald. 5, 10. Right. Oh. Does it matter which one comes here? I don't think so. Let's see. You create a light crystal. I did that indeed, and the chisel stayed its original weight. But the emerald got destroyed. The light crystal only weighs like half the weight of an emerald. So, I don't know. Let's see. Create light source. Yeah, and the light crystal still this does not get destroyed. That is very weird. But let's see if the karma did work. Still got 1000 karma. That is very weird. That's me destroying the stuff. But there's no errors here. What the hell? Let me see. Oh. Oh. Yeah, me dumb. You see that try block here? So of course, if my karma is bigger than 50, it tries everything in this try block, and if there's a no such template exception, then my karma will get set minus 50 and the items get destroyed. Well, of course, that belongs in here before the catch block. Oops. Big oof. Alright, crystal item though. It is now correct that it's not using up the chisel, but the problem is the diamond gets destroyed. So maybe I need to tweak that to, I don't know, 125 grams. Because it then takes, even if it would take the entire 250 from the diamond still should have enough weight, but I don't know if that's maybe an internal thing, so we'll see. I tuned the weight a little bit, for I'm not caring how heavy or light this item is, but that's just another weirdness here with modding Wurm. Alright, so let's see. Chisel, emerald. Emerald weighs like, yeah, half a kilo, that's okay. Yeah, of course I failed. Yeah, it still uses up the entire emerald, so that might be a quirk with gemstones that if you use them in crafting, they get used up. Might not happen with other stuff, so I can't really say this. Yeah, okay, but this is the weight is the same here, as you can see. So whatever happens with that, I don't really know. Maybe you can find it out. So check my karma again. 1000 karma. Create light source. Boom. And I've got the light token with the same quality, and create another light source, which is okay. It's still 50. That's a bit odd. But I think that's not in the code. Let's see, performer. Yep, we are doing. Although we've got target quality level here. Oh, but we have that float math max from the original spell here. So it's the maximum is 50 quality for these light sources. So we could either take the target quality level and divide it by 2, so we are never above 50, or we can just set this to 99. So I'm going to build this once more. Oh, right, as long as the server is running, we cannot build. Build it once more. Launch the server. And then I think the mod should be done. So there were some errors and some dumb things that happened to me, but that will occur when you mod. You will probably hate yourself a couple of times. But in the end, we found out about all the errors that I can think about. I'm not too sure with that weight of the gem, but that might be weird. I definitely did already make items that work like intended in the alchemy mod, so I think it's just the way the gemstones work. Correct me if I'm wrong, or feel free to comment. Okay, we've got a light crystal now, and it's 29.99. Right, this is from our stone cutting skill, so that is okay. And if I make a light source now, it's now 99 quality. All right. This is because this is math max. So math max chooses between the two values and gives back the bigger one. So we can change that into math min, or just change it altogether to just ignore the math. Fuck you, math. And just take the target quality level. Which already is a float. Okay, so kill the server once more. All right. And hopefully this is then the finished product. I'll put the code up to the mod up on GitHub and put the link in the description below. Please feel free to comment any feedback or questions you might have. But yeah, the best way to get started. Oh, that's the wrong server. The best way to get started with Wurm modding is just to look at other mods and see how it's done, or maybe look at the base game code and see how it's done. And from there on out, you can always ask questions in the modding Discord. I'll also put a link down below. All right, here it goes. A light crystal. Okay, 29.2 quality. Create light source. And it's 29.23. Very nice. And there you go. You have your little shiny star. That will eventually decay pretty fast, but you know, you have a little nice glowing star, and it's another thing to use gemstones for, especially the low quality ones. If you're doing vessel, you know you would use high quality ones, and once you suck them dry, you can still use them as light source, maybe as a real nice light source in like mines or something like that. All right, that's about it. This is a quick Wurm mod, although it took about 2 hours on raw video time, I guess. Don't know how this will end up when I finally cut it. But yeah, it's an item that you can use in game. So we did write a performer for it, and the performer is doing stuff based on your karma. And we did write a behavior. The behavior is needed to practically show the action if you right click something. Yeah, and we made an item. So that's that. Again, if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to comment below or hit me up on Discord. I wish you a very nice day, and I see you around.